What is going on, guys? So we are getting ready. It's 8 o'clock for the first round of the NFL draft. It is 8 o'clock. So right now, the Chicago Bears are officially on the clock. Now, this draft pick kind of seems like a foregone conclusion that Caleb Williams goes. I actually have that in my draft, as probably does everybody. So probably Caleb Williams going right here to Chicago. I am curious about how many trades we see tonight. The over under was at 10. I do have an under for that, but the one I'm looking at is definitely number three, where the Patriots move out. I would like to see if that happens, maybe look at the Cardinals moving. I'm definitely looking at the Vikings moving up from 11. Now, do they get to three? Do they want to give up as much as it takes to get to three? I don't know. But it is interesting to look at. I did one mock draft where I didn't do any trades, which seems that's not is what it's going to happen. Um, but to me, if there are no trades at all, Chicago takes Caleb Williams. I think Washington stays at two, and Jaden Daniels goes. A lot of people are saying that Drake May goes at three with the Patriots. I kind of like Marvin Harrison there. I like him at three to go to New England. Not going to swear to it. Not. I know it's a little bit of a reach um, because everybody's saying Drake May at three, but I don't know. His footwork needs a little bit of work, is what we have heard. So that is interesting thought process. Um, but New England needs a lot. So that's what we're looking at. Hello to our other person here. Howdy, howdy. Welcome to NFL draft coverage of the first round. And welcome. For anybody wondering, I'm actually watching the Pat McAfee draft spectacular. Um, so there will be some points that I'm just listening to what they say. Bill Belichick's on there, which is fascinating to listen to. First time I think in 40 years he'll be not in a war room going after the NFL draft. So very interesting. Let's go see. Crisco's final 2024 NFL mock draft. Giants trade up to get Drake May. So that would be interesting. Vikings let the QB come to them. So let's go see Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, and then the Giants trading up to three with the Patriots, and then Marv going to Arizona. So that is an interesting thought process. I mean, don't get me wrong, Arizona needs a wideout. Um, but what I had with my mock draft was the Patriots going with Marvin Harrison and then Malik Neighbors going to Arizona in that situation that Marvin Harrison's not there. I think the clear number one wideout is Marvin Harrison Jr. Um, but the other part, let's go see what other Prisco things. J.C. Latham. Ooh, I had him way later than the fifth pick. Wow. Okay. And then JJ McCarthy would go in the sixth pick to New England. They're looking at Dallas Turner going to Atlanta, and then Neighbors going to Chicago at 9. It is interesting to see if Chicago will move up to like 3 or 4 and then get Caleb Williams and Marvin Harrison. That would be an interesting. I have toyed around with that. It'd be fascinating. Let's go see Prisco. Michael Penix at 11. Ooh, that is an interesting thought process. Michael Penix, I would like to see up in Minnesota. We saw him be just incredible at Washington. I think he's got great arm strength and makes good decisions. Every time I would watch him play Washington, he was just making fantastic decisions. He's tall, arm strength is solid. In Detroit, I'm looking at it now because Pat McAfee and the crew are on site. But man, Detroit is packed. Let's see if there's a pick in. Eminem's on stage, which is awesome. Very fired up about the Lions, which is fun. Old MCDC's team. There's Jared Goff, dude. Jared Goff is so tall next to Eminem. He is a full head taller than Eminem. Wow. It's Aiden Hutchinson, Ross, Nate Brown. Oh, there's Calvin Johnson. Look at there. Wow. A ton. Oh, and then Barry Sanders. Wow, that's cool. Very, very cool. And now everybody's confused. Yeah, it was Barry Sanders. Okay. And then Roger Goodell getting booed. Absolutely booed. Oh, well, Goodell's finally putting people on the road. Let's go. It's now underway. Or on the clock. Now, anybody with Chicago being on the clock, they've just picked up DeAndre Swift at running back. We're looking at what they need, what is a great fit. I still see Harrison going there, but I mean, this is Caleb Williams. I just, I just don't see this not being Caleb Williams. I don't think anybody on the planet thinks this is not Caleb Williams. I'll tell you what, Chicago does have a good defense. They've added some weapons around. Trading Justin Fields over to Pittsburgh, they're looking for, of course, they've been looking for the whole franchise quarterback thing. But I don't know, man. They've got a great defense, and moving the pieces that they did, I like it. I still think their front office needs a couple of changeover. I don't know about the support staff, coaching staff, but I mean, there's tools in Chicago to be a good football team, especially now that you've got number 9 and number 1. I can't imagine Marvin Harrison, Malik Neighbors, or Roman Tunze being there, but if they take Caleb Williams 1, either one of those 3 guys are there at 9 and they don't trade up to get them, I think they go with one of those 3. I put it in that era or in that order is Marvin Harrison should go first, Malik Neighbors should go next, and then Rome Odunze should go third out of wide receivers. I like Brock Bowers. Um, I'm looking at him to go to the Chargers. A lot of people are saying, "Oh, he'll fall, he'll fall." I don't know. I would love for him to fall to Seattle at 16. I don't think that's going to happen. Um, but hey, the pick is in for Chicago, which is going to be Caleb Williams. Like this is what this is going to be. Unless somebody's trading with Washington at 2 to go get Jaden Daniels, which to me is obviously the number 2 pick. Love Jaden Daniels, what he did at LSU. There's like a jazz band going on stage. Interesting. And Pat McAfee's having fun with their new stuff. But of course, just because the pick is in does not mean that Goodell will come out at any quick time. By the way, anybody out there watch Draft Day, the movie with Kevin Costner, like the day before the NFL draft? There's Goodell getting booed. And Caleb Williams goes number 1 overall. Duh. So there he goes. Caleb Williams is now officially a Chicago Bear. What they think is going to be their franchise QB, coming out of USC under Lincoln Riley. But there's also like when you take number 1 overall, you look at Bryce Young from last year. There's so much that they put on the guys, and if you don't live up to the crazy amount of pressure, the crazy expectation, I mean, it can get rough. So hopefully he doesn't have to deal with as much of that. We'll look at what he does because USC didn't get into the playoff, didn't do this, didn't do that, and that's not necessarily his fault. He was the one extending plays, but their defense was awful. So They're going over some like film for him, and turnovers have been a problem a little bit. Fluster, but his accuracy is good, and he's yet does have a quick release. So I'm 1 for 1 with everybody else that did a mock draft completely. And we're looking at Washington being on the clock. So that is what we're looking at. Caleb Williams goes 1 overall out of USC, and Washington is on the clock, and they've got 3 minutes left, and Washington hasn't won a playoff game since '05. Wow. Did not know that. Almost 20 years. I think this is Jaden Daniels from LSU going to Washington. Absolutely. We know like the first two, and then I kind of deviate out of Drake Bay for the Patriots, but the vast majority of people have went with Drake May going to New England. Yeah, 2:05 left on the clock for Washington. Yeah, hey, I mean, you got to take some chances. Caleb Williams, every scout has said, has looked like the best prospect they've seen in years. I mean, yeah, taking stuff is a risk, but it's a limited risk. You know what I'm saying? And the pick is in for Washington, who just hired Dan Quinn as the new head coach. Look in there. So here we go. Washington has their guy. I think it's Jaden Daniels. Let's see if I can go 2 for 2, and then I probably won't get one right the rest of the night. But looking forward to it. Let's get into this pick. And coincidentally, for anybody that doesn't know, New England's now on the clock. As soon as the pick is in, The next team is on the clock while they're announcing whatever the pick is. Here we go. Yep. There's 2 for 2. Jack Daniels at LSU. I watched him play a lot, and he just really knows how to extend plays. He's tall, he's got good arm strength, um, but really, really good at extending plays, making creative decisions. Now, there are points where he takes hits where the NFL guys will tell him, "Hey, don't do that. Protect yourself. Go ahead and go down." Um, but yeah, I think it's great. I think it's a fantastic pick for Washington. He is a smart player and is a really good player. Yeah, he's got crazy high upside. Won the Heisman. It's fantastic. So the other thing with Jaden Daniels is he's a good leader. He's a vocal leader, and he was one of those guys that just the whole team rallied around and wanted him to do well, and he willed the team to win ball games. Makes good decisions pre-snap, makes good decisions during the play. But again, they had Willie Neighbors, who is an absolute badass, does make I mean, that will make QBs look good, sure, but Jaden Daniels' scramble ability, what he does with his legs, making good decisions and pulling the trigger and not, like, maybe, and then trying to go. No, if he sees an open lane, he takes the open lane and goes. He's a super special player. I just realized we've been on the stream for 28 minutes and 2 players. Wow. And now we've got, New England on the clock. Here is where I can anticipate the first trade of the night. I'm super curious if it happens or if New England uh, takes a player here. Everybody's saying Joe Alt is the best fit. I've got Joe Alt at 6 going to New York. This is where people have said New York might go to 3 to get Drake May. I'm just curious. So this is the first potential for a trade, which would be very interesting. There might be like 8 trades tonight. I'm gonna go with 8, but, if it is, a lot of people are saying New York to go get Drake May. I don't know. I just don't have Drake May as Drake May is the next. I kinda like honestly, I like Bo Nix a little bit more than Drake May, and I like Michael Penix. It just depends on who is where. Zach Wilson went to Denver really late, kind of did some interesting stuff. What I thought earlier in my mock draft, so I don't know that Zach Wilson's going to start. I'm pretty sure he's not, but it's just an interesting thought process. Haven't seen anything. Oh nope, New England's pick is in. So that's it. There is no trade. Let's see if this is Drake May or will they go Marvin Harrison? Because the pick is in for the New England Patriots. There is no trade. Wow. I really, really, thought there would be a trade. I thought maybe Minnesota would move up. A lot of people said New York would move up. Maybe they weren't willing to ship out as much as New England wanted. I'm sure they were called about 3 from New York, from maybe the Jets, and Minnesota, and Denver. Now we're looking at, they added Jacoby Brissett, KJ Osborne, Antonio Gibson, Austin Hooper. Wow. Wow, it looks like the initial thought is that it is Drake May. Wow. So there, I had Marvin Harrison, I really did. So that's interesting. If this is Drake May going to New England, Marvin Harrison is absolutely going to Arizona. So, wow, Drake. Wow. So Drake May coming out of UNC. Wow. So yeah, New England needed QB. I just there's a lot to work on. A lot of the people have said there's some similarities to Josh Allen. I don't know the comparisons there, but those are little basics. I think he has more to work on absolutely than Caleb Williams or Jaden Daniels. But he is 6'4", 230, coming out of UNC. Good, strong arm, but doesn't have a ton of minutes or games under his belt. He has made big plays, but I don't know. To me, this is a reach. I put Drake May at like 10. So, but that's why they're in Detroit drafting, and I'm sitting at home. But if I were to choose next, I would absolutely think that Marvin Harrison's next to go to Arizona for sure. And then when you look at Drake May, I think he needs to do some thought processes in pre-snap, read the defense, and I mean, there's just a lot to work on, and there's stuff to work on. It's absolutely a different game in the NFL. It's a lot faster of a game in the NFL than it is in college. So, but New England liked what they saw. So, but the next pick should be Marvin Harrison out of Ohio State to Arizona. That's what I would assume. Now that I'm like moving from my original mock draft, I just think this next pick is Marvin Harrison. Ooh, so in that replay, he took a pretty big trying to figure out if Arizona's already got the pick in because it's in there behind them, but I'm not sure. Yep. So Arizona's pick is in. I fully anticipate this being Marvin Harrison. Last few words on Drake May. I think he's going to walk in, be very teachable, especially from Brissett, and be the prototypical rookie, learn and do what we do. Yeah. So pick and Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to Arizona. That's what was just said. So there it is. I was super interested to see if Chicago would trade up to try to get Marvin Harrison Jr. and Edward Williams. So, I mean, a big pickup. You look at what he was able to do at Ohio State, the quarterbacks. Clearly, last year's draft big pick was by Houston, and CJ Stroud played with Marvin Harrison at Ohio State. And you have QBs like that, and you're able to do what you do. His dad, obviously, a legend as well. And the hat was sick. Hat looked fantastic. So big pickup. Arizona needed that. Absolutely. The Chargers are on the clock here. I had to take Brock Bowers, tight end out of Georgia, but we will see. Looking at what do they need? They need a wide receiver, offensive tackle, tight end, defensive tackle, and a cornerback. So you're looking at if they want to go wide receiver, Malik Neighbors is absolutely the next best player. If they want to go with the line, you're looking at Joe Alt, I don't know the name, but man, what a big pickup for Arizona. They needed a ton for Kyler Murray, and Hollywood Brown leaves in the offseason, and now you pick up Marvin Harrison Jr. You look at what rookie receivers did, especially in Seattle, coming out of Ohio State like he did last year, looks great. And now you're looking at another first overall wide receiver taken out of Ohio State, going to Arizona. I think him and Kyler Murray can absolutely line it up. And he's really tall, fantastic hands. He's 6'3", and He just really strong hands, sure hands, and is a great route runner. He's good up here, and that's good. His yards after catch, way up. So I think it's a fantastic pick for Carolina. Hard to why I want to say Carolina, I don't know. And when you're cutting your teeth against defenses you know are hard knock, like Michigan, he's played every year he's there, played against that defense, played against Penn State's defense, yeah, playing against solid defenses, that's important. Um, so I think it's a great pick for the Cardinals. Chargers have 3:46 left on the clock. Oh, I'm sorry, 3:20. Oh, it got dark in Detroit quick. It's so dark, and we've only been on, what, 35 minutes? Let's see, 42 minutes? So, well, alright. Sorry, guys. Also on my phone as well. So LA did not trade either. Chargers pick is in. Says the best available is Malik Neighbors. Yep. Chargers. I like Brock Bowers. Your throw could go. Ooh, let's begin. So Chargers pick is in. We're looking probably offensive tackle. I still like uh, Brock Powers. But here we go. It could be Joe Alt. We're looking at J.C. Latham out of Alabama. Nope, it's Joe Alt, 6'9". Joe Alt coming out of Notre Dame, going 5. Wow, big pickup. I mean, he's a big player. He's a big dude for an offensive guy. That is great. And interesting, the Chargers actually traded away Keenan Allen in the offseason, so that's interesting. But huge pickup. Absolutely a huge pickup for the Chargers. Solid at what, right tackle? Yeah. So, I like it. You're looking at Harbaugh just being hired as the head coach over there. So that seems like very much if you looked at Michigan, they were a run first team. They were a build an offensive line team. And that's already seeing like where this is going. I mean, 6'9", that dude, huge. Coming out of Notre Dame, so that's fun. So yeah, they do need a wide receiver, but Marv not on the board because he went to Carolina. You're looking at they could probably pick one up in the second. Yes, Neighbors is a very special player, but there's a lot of wide receivers in this draft. So I think it's good. And Kirk Herbstreit says it all the time. You hear NFL analysts say it all the time. Start at the line, and that's what they're doing. So, I'm sorry, he's 6'8", not 6'9". I missed it by an inch. But and I'm looking at tape on him right now. He's a big dude, strong guy, and quick off the jump on the snap, which is super important. And now we're looking for the Giants. We're on the clock. New York Giants have 5.5 minutes left. Best available is what they're saying is Malik Neighbors. Best fit would be J.J. McCarthy. Probably, I would say J.J. McCarthy. He's the next best rated. Also, would not be surprised if like Bo Nix kind of came in there, snuck up into the top 10. He's older. He's got a ton of experience. Yeah, Giants on the clock, and the pick is in. We're just waiting on the announcement of who the Giants are going to pick. Probably looking at J.J. McCarthy right here. That's what we're looking at. At least I got the first two in my mock draft. Right? So very interesting to see. And I feel like this is going to fast. We're already 6 in. I don't know. Maybe not because we're an hour in. So maybe not as fast as I. I will say that the under on trades being 10, I think is gonna get some elite neighbors. Wow! I thought they were gonna go QB. All the stuff with Daniel Jones, really weird press conference they did, but Malik Neighbors coming out of LSU, dude, his hands are so strong. Love the route running, love his, like, scramble drill. He's so good. So, huge on Malik Neighbors. And his, yak, the yards after carry, I mean, yards after catch, so strong. So, I think it's a great pick. So, yeah, they're talking about trades right now, and there hasn't been one. There's 6 picks in, and the Tennessee Titans are now on the clock. We're looking at stuff from Neighbors. I saw Neighbors, play a lot of football down at LSU, played last season with Jayden Daniels. He's great. He's a really, really strong wideout. He really is. Big ticket. And I feel like this is moving fast. So we're looking at best available is Dallas Turner. Best fit for Tennessee would be Rome Odunze coming out of Washington. And then after that, we will get the Falcons, a hometown team, and see what Atlanta can do. But first, we got to get to the Titans. Will the Titans trade their pick? Probably not. I would not say. Listening to Adam Peters, the Washington Commanders GM now, uh, on how they reached Hayden Daniels, but I mean, it's kind of a no-brainer there. So looking at Tennessee, they've got former Bengals OC Brian Callahan, coach, son Calvin Ridley, 4-year deal, great. Snead coming over, running back Tony Pollard. So they have kind of loaded up on weapons, but they did lose Derrick Henry, Tannehill, Brewer, Alice Shear, and Autry. So I mean, they've lost some big names, but they've picked up a lot too. So we're looking at what Tennessee needs: offensive tackle, defensive tackle. This is probably going to be a lineman. Uh, I wouldn't be surprised if Dallas Turner goes here out of Alabama. Wouldn't be surprised if J.C. Latham goes here. Amaris Mims out of Georgia. Byron Murphy. Latu out of UCLA, but Dallas Turner seems like the spot. But let me tell you, Neighbors is explosive. And the pick is in for the Tennessee Titans. Probably Dallas Turner as an edge. Let's see. Let's see. I will say Pat McAfee is just decked out in denim, which is interesting. Denim shirt, denim jacket, blue jeans. I wonder if his boots are made out of denim. That'd be fun. Oh, wow. So JC Latham goes. Wow, wow, wow. JC Latham, not Dallas Turner. Okay, so they're going offensive tackle. JC Latham. Wow. Didn't see that coming. I had him later. Definitely not 7th, but hey, that's what you know what I'm saying? And Bama just knows how to coach and produce offensive tackles. They've been a run team for years. They've been a QB protect team for years. Excuse me. So it, now the Atlanta Falcons are on the clock. My home team, hometown team. Of course, they're showing a lot against Georgia, which is with Atlanta. I mean, obviously, Kirk Cousins comes to Atlanta for a 4-year contract. Rondale Moore comes over to Atlanta, and then Raheem Morris was hired as the head coach. So, number 8, I had Cooper DeJean going out of Iowa. It just seems like something you're looking at Dallas Turner off the edge. Quarterback is where I think they will go. I like Cooper DeJean here. Somebody's saying Quinion Mitchell out of Toledo. The reason I didn't have no, I had him at 13, went to the Raiders, but who knows? I don't know. I like Iowa defenders a lot. That's kinda why I went there first at 8, but it seems as if I am lining up with a lot of people with going cornerback. But again, Titans pick up Jesse Lake. He's gonna be oh, the pick is in. The pick is in for Atlanta. I'm in our group chat in our league, and there's not a ton of people talking. But it looks like Odunze could be wild if Atlanta picks them up. I think Cooper DeJean would be a good pickup. People are talking about Dallas Turner, so it's just interesting. They're having a lot of fun. Ooh, does Atlanta trade? No, it's a big Sam. The pick is in at number 8. Who's it gonna be? Who's it gonna be? I'm seeing the draft room in Flowery Branch. I've got Pat McAfee on my computer, but I've got the draft coverage on my phone. Wait, what? So they said Michael Penix Jr. has just went number 8 to the Atlanta Falcons. Wow. Did not see that at all. Uh, I'm very confused at that. That I didn't see that coming anywhere. Like, I love Michael Penix. I told you guys at the top of when I went live, but they spent 160 million on Kirk Cousins over 4 years, and now they draft Penix overall. I don't know. I just the Bears are on the clock. Dallas Turner's there, Rome Odunze, but completely out of left field. I and I'm saying, it's not a knock on Penix at all. I like Penix as a QB, but, I mean, somebody just said at least it wasn't JJ McCarthy, and he's a Falcons fan, I'm glad I can't believe they took a QB, but I'm glad it was Penix over McCarthy, and the group chat is going with it, but, I just I didn't see the Falcons taking a QB at all, guys. That was completely out of left field. I just wow. And Chicago is now on there. I would say they would go get a wide receiver, young wide receiver to go with their new QB, but, I'm still just shook. I can't believe the Falcons took a QB there after paying Kirk Cousins as much as they did. I just oh, the pick is in for Chicago. Is it Odunze? I think so. And it is Rome Odunze. Big pickup. Big pickup. Loved him in Washington. Tall kid, strong hands, big pickups. Chicago has done really well in their first 2 picks. And now we're looking at who's on the clock? The Jets, who need offensive tackle. And who did I had, Latu out of UCLA on the edge. Wow. Whoa, the Vikings just moved up. The Vikings have made a trade. So they go up 1 pick. So we got our first trade of the night. So I feel like that Michael Penix goes and he goes, "Ooh," they get a little nervous, trade up. A lot of people are saying this is JJ McCarthy. Wow. So Vikings trade up 1 spot, looking at JJ McCarthy is what people are thinking. That is not for sure yet. A lot of people are taking JJ McCarthy. I kinda looked at Bo Nix here. I don't it just I saw a lot of what Michigan did. Michigan was very much a run first team. JJ McCarthy was not as tall. Nix has more experience, more yards. It just I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy, but it just felt like Bo Nix is a little bit better of a pick than JJ McCarthy if you're going everybody's talking about Penix going to the Falcons in the so JJ McCarthy goes to the Minnesota Vikings. Wow. This is I still can't get over Penix. I mean, nobody had Penix going to Atlanta. JJ McCarthy goes to Minnesota, played at Michigan, Comes out of IMG Academy. I I mean, we're looking at film of McCarthy. I don't know. I just don't think they did a lot where he had to make throws. It's crazy. But the Vikings traded up to go get him. Not that the Jets, I think, would take JJ McCarthy there. Who was gonna trade with the Jets that might have taken McCarthy there with Penix going as early as he did. And again, this is not a knock on Michael Penix Jr. I like Michael Penix Jr. I think he's a really good QB. I just didn't see him going to the Falcons at 8 when they just signed Kirk Cousins and, like, spent a bag to get Kirk Cousins down in Atlanta. So, super I just wow, it's just wild. We're just doing JJ McCarthy, footage, and I'm just not sold on him. I don't agree with the Vikings, especially moving up a pick to go get him. Maybe they had Penix before McCarthy, and then what Atlanta did, like, freaked them out, so they traded up to go get McCarthy. Maybe they don't like Bo Nix. So, I don't know. So right now, you've got Caleb Williams at 1, Jaden Daniels at 2, Drake May at 3, which is top 3 quarterbacks. Marvin Harrison at 4, Joe Alt at 5, Malik Neighbors at 6, J.C. Latham at 7, Michael Penix Jr. at 8, 9 is Roma Dunze, and then J.J. McCarthy going 10 to the Vikings. All right, so the Jets, I believe, are on the clock. Yes, the Jets are on the clock. Best fit here is Brock Bowers. Best available is Dallas Turner. Who did I have going to the Jets? Latu on the edge. And at this point, I would rather Bowers drop to get to the Seahawks. And the Jets pick is in. Every draft pick already has been offense. Every single pick has been offense. But the Jets pick is in. So this will be interesting. Super interested in what the Jets do right here. Me as a big fan, hopefully it's not the Jets. I really don't want to see Brock Bowers in a Jets uniform. It looks like the Jets did get Son Reddick in the offseason, so that could be interesting. So a tackle out of Penn State is I do Shanu. I don't want to butcher his name. I'm very sorry. But wow. So offensive line again. So now on the clock is the Denver Broncos. We're looking at maybe a QB, offensive tackle, cornerback. So huge pick for Zach Wilson, but They got rid of Russell Wilson, so this seems like somewhere to take a QB. Uh, Best QB available is Bo Nix. You got Spencer Rattler, Michael Pratt out of Tulane, Jordan Travis out of Florida State. I feel like is just a massive sleeping giant. I loved watching Jordan Travis play before he got injured, but Bo Nix, 50 games in college, so it's I just like a quarterback going to Denver right here. You can't have a lot of faith in Zach Wilson. Oh, and Denver's already got their pick in, so keep it moving. We're doing good. I'm curious if they go with one of the line, maybe an edge or an offensive tackle. But if Bo Nix goes, that would be interesting because quarterbacks are going already. If you look at what's already been one, two, three, four, five QBs have already gone, and we're only on the 12th pick. Almost half of this has already been quarterbacks. So if Denver wants one, do they have another pick somewhere? Vikings get at 23 from Cleveland, but Denver does not have another one. Everybody's just talking about Atlanta's pick. It's just wild. This is wild. Here we go. Denver is on the clock. A lot of people are talking about Bo Nix. I think Bo Nix would go there. I had him originally. Let's see. Looking at the Vikings, they went with JJ McCarthy, but I had Denver picking up a QB anyway. So this is super interesting to see what Denver does. And right now, you've got a bunch of defensive players because every single pick already has been offense. But Bo Nix should go right here at 12. If I'm just thinking about it, this should be Bo Nix. Still, everybody's just shook at Atlanta taking Michael Penix when they just signed Kirk Cousins. So interesting. I'm getting closer and closer to the Seattle pick, which I'm very interested in. I don't think Bowers goes here, not to Denver. They just need too much. I think this is Bo Nix, absolutely. As we're looking, let's see. No, the pick is in for Denver, and then the Raiders are on the clock, which they need a QB. So it's just QB bonanza. Like quarterbacks are just going. Welcome to whoever's in the room at this moment. Welcome. I know this is not as exciting as everybody else, but thank you for hanging out, enjoying the draft. I always enjoy hanging out on the first night of the draft. We will be live tomorrow for anybody that watched last year. Old Jay Ritt will be joining me tomorrow for rounds two and three, which should be a little bit faster and will be more fun. And when I can have somebody to talk with instead of just trying to cover everything myself. But in a second, the road, the pick's been in for like 3 minutes. Go ahead and announce the pick, guys. Come on. And it's also really cool. I'm listening to all the thought process coming out of Bill Belichick, who's been in the war room for 40 years in the NFL. Uh, Back when the NFL draft wasn't really a spectacle, not when we're talking about Brock Bowers a lot, but I mean, QB should this should be Bo next. But I said Atlanta was looking at cornerback, edge, and they took Michael Penix. So, oh, we're looking at if Denver's trading. Nope. And Bo Nix goes to the Denver Broncos. With a ton of game time experience. He's been playing forever. And Denver takes Bo Nix. Played at Oregon, played at Auburn, under Dan Lanning at Oregon. Had a lot of football, won a lot of football, and made significant strides at Oregon after leaving Auburn. So I think it's a solid pickup. Good deep ball. Raiders are on the clock. They got about 3 minutes left. They need a QB. I just don't see a QB going here. And if it would, let's go see. If they were to take a QB, it looks like Spencer Rattler is available. I still like Jordan Travis, Joe Milton. Joe Milton can throw like 80 yards in there, which is crazy. Jack Plummer, Plumlee's there, but you can pick those up in the later rounds. And I think you can get Rattler in the later rounds for sure. So this would be somewhere to pick up tackle, defensive line, something like that. And the Raiders pick is in. And Brock Bowers goes to the Raiders. And I'm huge on Brock Bowers. Watched him play at Georgia for years, and he's fast, he's strong, he's got great hands. It's crazy, and, they're just gonna go after best available, which is absolutely Brock as a massive, big weapon. So 13 straight offensive. Alright, guys, well, I'm gonna be, doing 2nd and 3rd round tomorrow, so we will see y'all then.